Today, Shannon and I decided to take a traditional recipe called Locrio de Pollo, which is also known as arroz con pollo, which in English is chicken and rice, and modify it a bit so that we can make sure that it was still tasty, budget-friendly, and healthy. I wanted to make sure that when we modified this traditional recipe that I grew up eating, I wanted to make sure that it was still flavorful and it kept its flavor profile. So we made sure to look for all of the ingredients and modify the right things so that it was healthy and it was still budget friendly.
What I did was take the recipe that she gave me and tweaked it to make it a healthier version. So we kept a lot of the traditional things that go into it, including the traditional peppers, the cubinal, and the pumpkin, the ayrama. We found those at International Foods, which is one of the local Latino grocery stores. They also take Snap and Wick, which is perfect because we are trying to make sure that this recipe is budget friendly for everyone. The main things that I tweaked were the sodium content. So I did that by decreasing the salt from 1.5 teaspoons to 1/2 teaspoon, which decreased it by 2,300 milligrams, which is already your daily allotment of sodium. And then I also changed the traditional tomato sauce to no salt added tomato sauce. We used Hunt's because that one is very easy to find at pretty much any grocery store, including International Foods. And that decreased it by another almost 1,600 milligrams. The other things that I changed were the sugar. The sugar that is traditionally called for is white sugar, and what I wanted to do was change it to either honey, which I know changes the profile a little bit, so what we did was use organic raw sugar, which has not been bleached, instead. And we changed the white rice, which is traditionally used, to jasmine rice. And the reason I did that is because jasmine rice is a form of brown rice, so it still contains the bran, which means it's much higher in fiber, which means that it's going to lower the glucose load that you intake when you eat the rice because it doesn't immediately affect the insulin receptors. When it comes to the budget, what we spent for this recipe was approximately $15, and that includes all of the spices. Now those spices you can obviously use for multiple other recipes, but we bought everything at International Foods. So it was very budget friendly, and they take all Wick and Snap cards. So this is a recipe that's going to cover about 6 to 8 servings, depending on how much you eat, for $15.
What's nice is that we were able to take a traditional recipe, modify it just a bit, but keep the flavor.
Look for a link in the description below to follow us for new recipes, and also to get engaged in the forum to discuss other ideas or other swaps that you would like to be seen.